Hello, today is Saturday, April 24th, and today I did some push presses. I did the front squats that I was supposed to do on Thursday, some rack holds, some bench press, and some light accessories. And today honestly went really well. My push presses were the best that they've ever been. I worked up to 205 for my work sets, which is 10 pounds above what I did last week, and they moved better than they did last week, which was 195. I really just tried to focus on just getting the most out of my legs, just pushing really hard with my legs, basically. And this idea that I talked about last week of pushing past to neutral with my legs, which again, I'm doing a better job of, definitely could still do better, but progress is progress. Yeah, and I was also, another thing I was thinking about was making sure that my dip and my drive were quick in terms of tempo. So that doesn't necessarily mean like rushed per se, because I'm still trying to get as much out of the drive as possible. But, not letting myself dip too deep, keeping it shallow and having the tempo be a little bit quicker. And I think that really helped with getting more out of my legs. Yeah, and the belt also helped a lot too. I feel like I talked for a few sessions about how putting it on doesn't really feel like I'm getting anything out of it. But today, I don't know if I did anything, or I can't really point out specifically what I did consciously to make it feel like I was using it more, but I definitely got more out of it today. And so this is my first set. You can see that first rep, I got almost all of the height from my legs. That I had to push a little bit with my arms, but it already looks better than it did last week with 195. And the dip and the drive, it's way less, well, I don't know about way less, but there is notably less hips scooping forward, which I think also helped sort of make my drive more efficient. I wasn't losing power as much as I would have if they scoot more, I guess. But yeah, push presses went very well. Was happy with these. Nice. So then I moved on to front squats. And my front squats also went really well. I feel like today's front squat session might have been my best front squat session yet in terms of technical execution. Today, I used my hook grip belt for the first time on front squats over my Inzer belt, which is, like I've said multiple times, a lot thicker. And so I was aiming for 315, even though I did 325 last week, because I was like, okay, this thinner belt will not help me as much. So let's aim a little bit lower to adjust for that. But I ended up working up to 315. The first set was it moved really well and it was really easy. So I was like, fuck it, let's just move back up to 325. And so out of the 5 sets that I did, the first one was with 315, and then the last 4 was with 325. And I think I still have plenty of room to move up if I can maintain the level of technique that I had today. So today I really focused on making sure my front rack was stable and solid, and actively pushing my hips back when I descend. 300 was my last warm-up, and it moved really easy. Felt really good. 315 too. Yeah, I feel like this just resembles a squat way more. You can see I'm breaking at the hips a lot better than I have before. And I think that I'm much more able to do that when I have a really strong and stable front rack position, which is one of the main things that I was focusing on today. I think this third set was my best set ever, probably, of front squats, both in weight and technique. You can see on some reps though, when I let myself look down and don't have my head up, that's when my front rack sort of caves inwards, and that's when it gets sort of messy. The second rep of this 5th set was probably the worst one in that respect. Yeah, so I look down and my sort of front rack rounds over, which is when my hips sort of tend to scoop over or scoop under. But yeah, I mean, overall though, I mean, especially compared to last week, my front squats went way better. And I think also doing the front squats before these rack holds, I think set me up to do well on these rack holds too. Because I was just carrying over the same thing I was thinking about, having a strong front rack to make sure that like my hips don't feel like they need to scoop underneath me to support the weight. So yeah, those went well. Very happy with both that and push presses. And then I moved on to bench. This is not super exciting again. But what is pretty cool though is that I still have room to keep pushing the weights for probably the next like 2 weeks or so. I think I can work up to 295 if I take 5-pound jumps per week. So 290 next week and 295 the week after. And I think 295 is my best set of 5 at this grip width. And that's when I was benching 4 times a week. And now I'm only benching 1 time a week. So yeah, that's pretty cool, I guess. I'm like maintaining strength pretty well, even though volume and frequency have been cut down significantly. Yeah, but I mean, it also doesn't really matter other than like just for my own personal sake. But yeah, that's about it, I think. Yeah, overall, just a great day. I think just a great way to cap off the week, especially given how shitty some of my other sessions were this week. Always just feels good to end on a good note. But yeah, that's it.